I plan to have two topics today, and one is this one: frequency distribution table. What we mean that how to construct the frequency distribution table. So that's what we are going to look. And this is a typical example of frequency distribution table. What you are seeing now is an example of frequency distribution table. Okay. So I'll go to it. Uh, and these are the topics covered in this data, frequency, class interval range, and frequency distribution table. These are the things which will be covered here. So before that, let us go for a definition. What is the statistics? What do you mean by statistics? Yes. Respond. What do you mean by statistics? If nobody knows means then it will be whatever I say you have to agree. You should not tell that is what I told is wrong.
Collecting and analyzing data
Collecting.
and analyzing a data.
Very good, Archana. So collecting and analyzing the data. Anyway, I have said it in a general term, and if you put it in an elaborate way, and this is the answer. Statistics is a branch of mathematics. It collects, enumerates, organizes, tabulates, calculates, interprets the data, and gives the results. So this is what the full meaning for statistics. Collects. What do you mean by enumeration? Enumeration. Counting. If you count it, then it is called enumeration. See, every 10 year, we all will be counted. What is that known as? Every 10 years. It is a census. Therefore, in case of census, we should call it as enumeration because everyone will be counted. We won't leave anyone. But in case of pilot study, where we were discussing yesterday, pilot study, what we will be doing? To whom we will be giving the questions? A part of the population. A part of the population is called as, yes, a part of the population is called as, easy, you know the answer. A part of the population is called as sample. Okay, in pilot study we will be going for the sample. We won't go for all the persons in your population. But in census, we have to count everybody. Then that is the true population of India. Then that is called counting. Otherwise, enumeration. And this is what we have to enumerate, organize, tabulate, and also diagram, sometimes graphs. So all these things we call it as statistics. The science of average is statistics. Professor Bayoli and his definition. So this is another very good definition by TATS. It's all perfectly clear. You compute statistics from statistics by statistics. Janani, any questions from your side?
No, sir.
Then you can mute. So what do you mean by this? It is all perfectly clear. He is confusing with one term. You compute statistics from statistics by statistics. What does this mean? Yes. So you compute statistics means you compute something like mean, median, mode, standard deviation, all those things. P, F, ANOVA, all those things. You compute statistics from what? You compute from data, and that data is also called statistics. By what? By formula. That formula is also called statistics. So statistics possess how many meanings? How many meanings for statistics the word? Yes. See, it's before you can answer. I am asking the question by projecting the answer. How many meanings for statistics?
3 minutes.
Huh? Three meanings. What are those? Yes, tell me what are those? It is the mean, median.
Formula, data, and mean median mode.
Okay, formula, data, and mean, median, mode. These are three different meanings. Is that all? Whether the answer is how many meanings for statistics? This three is correct. Is that correct? Three. The another one is the fourth one is the subject itself. Apart from this, you have the subject. So subject itself is another meaning. So formula we call it statistics. Data is statistics, and mean, median, mode is also statistics. The subject itself is also statistics. Okay, more than four. Okay. So data is the word plural and datum is singular. And what do you mean by data? What is the definition of data?
Information, processed information.
Good. The processed information. Good. So data is a plural word. Data means only one. That is data. More than one, it will be called as data. Okay, these are the things of data. Left side you have the data, and data speaks. To understand this, we have to organize. And one form of organization is frequency distribution table. That is what the topic being discussed now. So we'll go for it. So the left you see the frequency distribution table. How to get it? That's what we are going to see. And the right side what you see is the definition. It is a definition of frequency distribution table. If the frequency of each class which was formed from data are listed in the form of a table is called as frequency distribution table. So see the frequency 8 for the first. If the frequency are listed and if it is put against the class interval, against a class, if the frequency are listed against a class, then that table is called as frequency distribution table. So 7 to 74 there are 8 frequencies. 75 to 79 there are 8 frequencies. If you keep on listing like this, the frequencies against the class, then that is called frequency distribution table. Okay. And these are the steps in arranging the frequency distribution table. So arrange the data in the increasing order. So you'll be having marks now. What you have is a student of 10. That is not enough. You can take more than that. This is for this only, not for discrimination index, not for difficult index, not for reliability. You leave all those things. Here you can hypothetically you can take up to 50 or 60, whatever you like. You can just increase, so that if you there is no test in my portion. There is no test and no assignment is that this is what you are writing is the assignment. See, this is a topic wherein which we have to practice. See, otherwise, as I have said yesterday also, today same thing I have to repeat again. The topic is very much important. Unless and until if you keep writing, we will forget many things. Okay, that's why starting from the beginning, I am asking you to write. So therefore, for this topic of statistics, this after the standardization of question paper, you take some hypothetical values and then you can build. I will show you how it can be done. After this, it will be easy for you. Or otherwise, you can take my own data itself, whatever I am projecting, but you have to write once at least. Just don't copy just self-assessment. It's a kind of self-assessment. So arrange the data in increasing order, find the range, determine the number of classes, form frequency distribution table. So that's all. Only four steps. So you got 4 steps for forming frequency distribution table. So you go do one by one. Okay. So left side I have taken raw data which is numbering 56. So you can see bottom that the capital N, it is the number of sample, total number of sample. That is what in statistics we call number of sample. And we have taken 56 sample, or otherwise 56 informations which was collected, that has been arranged. And right side you see it has been arranged in ascending order. The right parts, it will be having those data in the, so the first step is over. Now let us go for the second step. And what is the second step?
Find the range, sir.
Find the range. And how to find the range? How to find the range? So this is the range. It's very simple. Range is highest score minus lowest score. You know the highest score is here. Lowest score this one, and this is the highest score. Since we have arranged in ascending order, take the lowest and take the highest, you find. So 50 is the range for us. Now we are going for a class. How to go in? Now I'll be telling. If the data are grouped within a boundary, they are called as classes. So we have data from 42 to 90. If you are grouping within a boundary, like 1 to 5 or 1 to 10, like that, if you are keeping a boundary, and those things are called as classes. Okay, this is what now we have to frame for our data. And still further explanation, each class will be having an upper limit, that is what the 10, and the lower limit. So 10 is the upper limit and 1 is the lower limit. And the data 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 belongs to this class. Okay. So this is what a class. So if the data are grouped within a boundary, we call them as, we call that as those boundaries as classes. Okay, let us see how that 1 to 10 can be represented. See, this is the, we just concentrate on left hand side. See 1 to 10, that has been represented by a line diagram. So you start with 1 and you end with 2. This is the first class, number 1, first class. And now let us take the case 1. The case 1. And what are the values which represent 1? That is what now I am going to tell. The values which is starting from 0.5 to 1.5, it literally means 1 in case of group, because in class you are not identified by a single entity, you are identified as a whole. Any number which starts with 0.5 and ends with 1.5, that is treated as 1. If 0.7 is there, what is to be treated as 0.7? 0.7 is equal to, yes, tell me, 0.7 is should be treated as
1.
1. If it is 1.2, that should be treated as, yes,
Also 1.
that is also 1. So the numbers which starts from 0.5 and which ends with 1.5, all those numbers belong to the number 1. because as a group we are not going for individual identity. Okay. Likewise, if it is if it is 5, what is the lower limit for 5? I am not asking for a class, for a number. What is the lower limit of 5? Yes, tell me.
4.5.
4.5. And what is the higher limit for 5?
5.5.
Yes. So the numbers starting from 4.5 to 5.5, all those numbers. Suppose if I say 4.985, it should be taken as this one should be taken as 4.985. Yes, tell me. It is equal to 5. Like that only you have to treat the data and put in the classes. Suppose you have we have taken plenty of data, no? A number if you want to put in a class, likewise you have to. We don't have a decimal data, but for understanding I have used. So we have these data, and these data you have to put in a class. How to put? You take the particular data and find in which class it comes. In that class you have to put. Okay. Now we'll understand how the classes are being framed. And this, whatever we have said the same thing on the left hand side. So the real lower limit of 1, so of 1 previously is 0.5, and real upper limit of 1 is 1.5. The same thing if you take 10. If you take 10, the real lower limits, we call it as real lower limits. The real lower limit is 0.5 less than the number, and the real upper limit is 0.5 more than that particular number. Okay, right. Now we'll go for another concept. What means class interval? So this is a concept. If you subtract the real lower limit from the upper limits, then that value, arrived value, you call it as class interval. And if you want the definition is at the bottom. Class interval is the distance between the real upper and lower limit. It is the distance. So this is the distance. What you see, this distance is called as class interval. So starting from here to here, we call it as class interval. And how to get the class interval? It is real lower limit subtracted from real upper limits. That value, arrived value, we call it as class interval. So now we understood two things. One is called class, the other one is called class interval. The distance between real upper and real lower limit in a class is called as class interval. Okay, now we have to go for, since we have taken this many data, and we have to put this data in the form of classes. So how many classes we need? That is what we are going to find out. So number of classes we have to determine. So almost 56 we have taken. So this is how we have to find the number of classes. The formula for number of class is equal to R by I, where R, you know, previously we calculated range. And what is range? What is the formula for range? Yes.
Highest score minus lowest score.
Highest score minus lowest score is the range. So that is what 50 I calculated before. I, you tentatively keep it as 5. Let us see. I'll explain why I have taken as 5. Okay. You tentatively keep as class interval. We know it is the distance between the real upper limit and the real lower limit. You tentatively have it as 5 and go ahead. Let me explain it later. So 50 by 5, 10, and always add 1 to it. Always we'll be having 11 classes. Number of classes is 11 for our data which we have taken 56. That many data we have taken. For that we have to keep 11 classes. Okay. Okay. Now the right side, it is the reason for why we have chosen 5. Okay. Right. So I'll explain and then you can also see that I'll explain. See, these 5 we have taken tentatively. You can have the class interval as 2 or 3 or 5 or 10, etc. You can have any number you can have. Even 1 also you can put. Suppose you divide 50 by 2. What is the number of classes for that? 50 by 2? 25.
25, sir.
25 plus 1 you have to add, that many will come 26 classes. If you put 3, how many will come? Yes. 16. 15 will come, you can add one more, 16. 16 classes will come. If you put 5, it is 11 classes. If you put 10, if you put I as class interval as 10, how many classes or number of classes are possible?
6.
50 by 10 is equal to 5 plus 1, 6. Okay. Right. These are the number of classes. And what statisticians are saying that you have to get some 8 to 15. That will be a good measurement. So it will be good for going for further calculation of mean, median, mode. All those things it will be better if you have classes between 8 to 15. Okay. So 3 and 2 having more than that, and 10 has less than that. That is why I have put 5. That is the reason here on this right hand side. So that number I we are fixing arbitrarily to have 8 to 15 classes. In that range we have to put. So 5 is only the suitable answer in which we are getting in this benchmark or in this category 18 to 15. That in that it is coming. Okay. So that is why I have put 5. Right. Now we are having 11 classes. Let us go for the classes. How we are keeping. See, the lowest number is 42. Or therefore you can start, what you can start is you can even start 42 as the lower limit, and we said it is 5. So 42, you can add that 42 also as number 42, 43, 44, 45, 46. That will be the one class. Next class will be 47. Again 5 including 47, 47, 48, 49, 50, 51. This will be the second class. Next 52 to 56. Like this it will be going. Anyway, you can, since 42 is the lowest number, you can always take 42, start from the class 42, but it will be better if it is like an whole number like this, 42, 44. It will be better. So that is why even the +1 is also coming because of this reason only. Always you start from a whole number, not in between that. That will be better. That is why the classes are started from 40. Okay. Right, start from 40, you add up to 11 classes, and the 11th class will be 90 to 94. So this will be rhymingly 40 to 44, 45 to 49, 50 to 54, like that it will be coming. So these are the classes. Okay, you remember, arrange the data in increasing order, find range, find number of classes. Number of classes is equal to R by I. How to determine I? How to find the value of I? Yes, tell me. Induja, how to determine I? Yes. In this, at least you say yes, sir. Yes or no. Whether you are there or sleeping or dreaming. Where are you? Induja? Our class is really virtual. Nobody is alive. Karthikeyan, how to find a. I crossed ma. Induja, how to find I? How to choose I? And what is I? Karthikeyan, Karthikeyan. All of you are really in virtual state. We cannot find you. Okay, Liana, how to find I? At least she can give you a console by talking. Liana is not there. Liana. Oh, good. So I is class interval. We have to find by.
Yes, sir.
Yes. How to find I? This is the way to find. We have to have 8 to 15 classes. In that way, you have to put the denominator to get the numbers as number of classes in between 8 to 15. We have to select I. Okay, in that way we have to select. Right. So this is how we have done, and then the rest will be easy. So these are the steps: arrange the data, find number of classes. After finding, then this is the distribution table. So we said 11 classes start from 40 to 44. So that is the lowest, you write at the lowest, and this is the highest, you write at the highest. Normally go from bottom to top, not in the reverse. Okay. So we have the data, two datas within the boundary. The first class number 1, 42, 44. So 42, 43, there are two datas in the class which is represented by 40 and 44. Those two enter in a tally mark, and those two tallies you add it here. This one we don't have any data, and therefore this is 0. And here you have 5 data. As you go for tally, if up to 4 you can mark like this. The 5th one you have to cross it. Like that, as you are scoring cricket scores, like that only our boys and girls, they will score cricket scores. So like that. So that's all. This is the frequency table. So understood? Is there any questions for frequency distribution table? So it will be easy, I think. So you have to do a table and have some hypothetical data, maybe 16. Then you see, this is hypothetical. You can take any data, or take this data itself. If you like, you take it, or you arrange by yourself. If you arrange, you will learn. If you take it, then you always you coincides with my answer, and the learning will be less. So general advice is that you can have your own values and try to do all these steps. Then you will get a frequency distribution table, which is the basic for all our statistics. So next year you have to, whenever you are going for not next year, next year. So in seventh semester, you have to go to schools. You have to teach And at the end of the teaching, you have to assess your own teaching. So assessment as learning, assessment for learning. You have to do assessment for learning, summative evaluation. So yeah, prepare a blueprint, prepare a question paper, scoring key, give to whole class. Around it can be 50 to 60. That means students have to be there. Otherwise, you can come in 2 classes if the numbers are less. And with that data you will be having, you have to go for all those things which we are going to see from now. Mean, median, mode, all those things we have to see manually. So as to understand the concept. See, there are plenty of software. Suppose in Excel sheet itself, if you enter the data, and at last if you put just enter mean, it will give the mean. Just type median, you will get the median. Type mode, you will get the mode within a fraction of a second. But we may not be understanding the theory begin. How does what we mean by median? What we mean by mode? What is mean? And what is its use for? Okay. So all those things we may be knowing if we know the theory. That is why we do take this. Okay. So arrange the data and design increasing order. Take some data, some 50 to 60, find range. The third step, you have to determine the number of classes with the formula. So this answer you should roughly come 8 to 15. In that way, you keep I and always keep whole number. Don't go for fraction. And even one or two blueprint I have seen some 60.66%. Don't go for all these things. Always keep in a whole number. That will be easy for us. Even for teacher who is correcting your paper now, if it is in whole number, easily they will check and put award marks. If you keep like this in decimal percentage, 60.125052, like that, don't keep all those things. I have always as a whole numbers. That will be easy for your own understanding or also for teacher who is correcting your answers. So determine I by yourself and get the number of classes and then go for the classes, form a table and write the frequency, right? So like this you have to have. This is what you have to form with your own data. So classes, tally marks, frequency. And what at last here? What do you mean by this? What do you mean by this? Summation frequency. What it will be equal to?
Sum of all the frequency.
The sum of
Yes.
all frequencies.
56.
Whatever data, how many number of data you have taken, sample, that many you will be getting. If you are not getting that, somewhere you are missing. That you can check. Okay. Okay. Thank you. I'll stop with this my own teaching and then I can cut the recording.